Hi! Are you slightly dreading the coming festive season? Not just because of the polycrises that we're all facing as one humanity, which I think is actually an existential crisis, but let's go there. But you personally, are you slightly dreading Christmas, the festive season, because you might run into that person? If this is you and you know that you've got something hanging out with somebody else and you might bump into them over the holiday season and you want to do something about it, then please do keep listening. If you feel like you're cool with everybody that you ever met and you don't carry any grievances or any resentment, then I'll wait for you to leave. So those of us who are willing to admit that we carry resentment and grievances against other people, this is hopefully an offer that you'll be really happy to learn about. Because if we don't learn to handle our resentments and to let go of our grievances, then it builds up in our bodies and in our hearts. And there's a lot of research now that's proving that grievances held over time, hatred, anger, resentment, can really actually cause a lot of damage in your body. It can increase your stress levels, it can increase your cortisol levels, it can increase your blood pressure, it can just damage your immune system. So there are really good reasons why we need to be doing our emotional work. And there's a lot of talk about our mental well-being, which is how we think, but not so much about our feelings, our emotions, about how we feel and how we deal with what we feel. And what do we do when we get triggered, when we see somebody else and we know we've got something hanging out about them and we haven't dealt with it? I remember one time I went to a dance class. It was an all-day workshop, and I was making sure that I never got close enough to this particular person that I didn't want to encounter, because I didn't want to get paired with them for the next dance. And so I spent the whole day making sure that I was somewhere relative to where that person was, far away. So did it ruin my experience of that dance class? Yes, it did. Did I successfully avoid that person? Yes, I did. But the point is that if I had been able to do something about that resentment, about that feeling, about that person before I'd gone to the class, maybe I would have had a different experience. So in case you don't know, I'm Barbara J. Hunt. I'm a forgiveness author, specialist, workshop leader, and I lead something online called Forgiveness Fields. And this is a place where we can all practice our forgiveness work together. I actually created a 7-step forgiveness made easy process, which is a very thorough way of dealing with your resentments. Most of the time as children, as young adults, and as adults, in fact, we don't have any training about how to deal with our relationships, how to offload resentments. And this is a perfect opportunity for us to think about, well, who is it that I'm going to be at some kind of event with, and I'm going to be there and I go, oh, hi, nice to see you, how are you doing, to most of the room, and then there's one person I'm like, not going to either go into that room, or I'm not going to connect with them, or I might even, be unkind. So what do you do? How do you learn how to let go of resentment? And especially when something's really happened, when there's been an actual grievance, someone's like, betrayed you or got one over on you, how do you deal with it? Well, that's what I teach, and that's what we get to do together on the Forgiveness Fields. There's this one other lovely story I'll tell you, which is an Egyptian myth, which is when we die, our hearts are placed on a pair of weighing scales. So our heart goes on one side of the scales, and on the other is a feather. And if our hearts are as light as a feather, we go on into a blissful afterlife. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't really want to wait until I die to have a blissful life. I'd rather have a blissful this life. So it is possible for you to let go of your grievances. Forgiveness isn't about condoning unacceptable behavior. It's not about letting people off the hook. It's not about saying it's okay when something isn't. It's not about not setting boundaries. It's not about, just letting people walk all over you. Forgiveness is about what you choose to keep in your heart. So you can either keep a kind of like mass of snakes and kind of grievances and unkindness in there and old unresolved issues, or you can free your heart and make it as light as a feather. So this is my invitation. You can free your heart of any grievances and resentments that you don't want to carry through this festive season or even into the new year. You can leave this year with a freer heart. And I've done this work with hundreds, probably thousands of people now. And there is an extraordinary experience that I get told a lot, which is not that the person feels differently necessarily only about the person that they've done their forgiveness work on, but they feel more light of heart and more open-hearted to other people too. And this is an opportunity for you to free your heart and to make the world a more beautiful place at the same time. If you'd like to find out more, please click the link below and then you'll get sent to a page where you can sign up for the class. You're very warmly invited and everyone is welcome. You don't have to have an experience of forgiveness. You just have to have a little willingness. I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks very much.